Hello, N4H&H here. That's a strange looking HF rig over there, isn't it? Okay, so this is not about the Breville, but it just happens to be a Breville. What do you call this thing?
It's a Barista Express, the
Okay.
BES870XL.
Okay, now you guys are wondering, why in the world is he shooting a video for a ham radio site pertaining to a fancy coffee maker? Well, here's my son, David.
Hello.
And he is really into gourmet coffees, so much so that he's even considered opening up his own coffee shop. And so he got us all interested in making these coffee drinks like this. And so the reason I want you guys to watch this is, hey, propagation is beginning to pick up. Cycle 25 is looks like it's getting underway. So the bands are going to start getting hot. Okay, so we may get some opportunities to work a bunch of DX, be late at night, and you need a good coffee to keep you awake. So without further ado, David's going to show us how a machine like this works. There are apparently various different models out there, but I bet the concept's kind of similar from one to the other. Just maybe one might do something a little different, or to understand some of them are more automated. But without further ado, here we go. Take it, David.
All right, so we're starting off. We're going to make a pumpkin spice latte with a homemade pumpkin spice sauce here. We can put the recipe in the comments below or the description. But this is the coffee, Stumptown Roasters out of New York. This has got, you can get this from Kroger or order direct from them. You can do a subscription, but this is really good coffee. It's my favorite. I've tried a bunch of different ones. So what we're going to make is pumpkin spice latte. This is the mug. You want to start with at least a 12-ounce mug. In a shallow mug is nice to where you have room here, but this has hot water in it. A little trick here is to warm up the mug with some hot water first before you make the machine, make the coffee in the machine, because the espresso coming out, this is an espresso machine. It comes out about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very important that it remains at that temperature, so you don't want to cold shock it with a cold cup. So this mug is warm now, so I'm going to dump that out. And what we're going to do, because with this machine it takes about a minute, you're going to steam milk. Steaming milk is important. You may see milk frothers online. That really just adds bubbles and foam. But
Is it a particular type of milk?
2% is good. The more fat content, the more it can stretch. So whenever you steam milk, it stretches. So the more fat content you have, the more it'll expand. And really, you don't need it. The whole goal of espresso is if you get it done correctly, it shouldn't be extremely bitter. So you don't need to add more sweetness to cancel out the bitterness. So I find that 2% milk works great. Fairlife milk is really good for this because, especially in the mornings, you get protein inside of that. But it's also got half the sugar of any other milk. It's cold pressed.
So,
or cold filtered.
So that's going to make it a little bit healthier.
Yeah. Fairlife milk is what I use just because it's cold filtered, so it's half the sugar and it has no lactose in it. And it's got a little bit of protein, so I actually can drink one of these in the morning and pretty much be good to go with maybe a little granola bar. So what we're going to do is this does not come with the machine. It's a thermometer. So if you don't have one of these fancy thermometers, and if you get a machine, you want to get to about 150 degrees, so right where the green zone starts. Or you can use it as a sort of a gauge. While you're steaming the milk, you'll feel the jug get hotter and hotter. Once it gets so hot that you can't really touch it anymore, you know you're good. Getting too much can really burn it and make it, you kind of go the opposite direction. But steaming milk brings up the sweetness of it without actually having to add any sugar, which is why it's very important to have a nice steam wand here on this machine. So we'll go ahead and get started. The same, again, these beans are in the hopper up here. It has a grinder built in. And again, this is the Breville Barista Express BES870XL. And this is called a portafilter, and inside of it, it's called a filter basket, okay? Now, you can set the amount that comes out. We just put these beans in here. So what you do is you can do it in here, and it can automatically, see right there, I'm not even touching it. You can automatically have it distribute, and you can adjust the amount that it distributes here. But since we just put these beans in, all beans are different, so I haven't really set this. So if you don't have to worry about that, you just manually hold it in. And you see how it's starting to fill up and it's gonna overflow soon. You can still put a little bit more in there. Basically, once it gets to the top, you kind of give it a little bit of a smack down here. This is called Tamping Mat, sold on Amazon for like 15-20 bucks. And then there's a tamper right here that is magnetized inside. So once you kind of got it level, give it a little bit of a light press, and where the silver stops on the top of this tamper, you want that to be level with the top of your filter basket. So whenever I put this in, you see how it goes below? That means I need more coffee. So you just put it in, get a little bit more. And again, if you set your grind amount here, then you don't need to worry so much about this manual process every time. I just want to show you how it works in case you don't know. Okay, so we got it sort of flat there, and we got our tamper. See there, it's right at the top, so that's good. And now you just want to hold it like a door handle and have it level, and then press down. The amount of pressure isn't super important. Consistency is really the key. Okay, see that? It looks like that. So this is a puck, and so what's happening is the espresso, it's a way of extraction, and so it's putting high pressure. It should be around 9 bars of pressure worth of liquid. It's just water in here. 9 bars pressure water is going to be sent through this puck, they call it, and then it comes out of here. And you want it to try and come out. You adjust the amount of coffee and the grind size. The grind size setting's right over here. You adjust those two factors, and that will determine how fast it comes out. And whenever it comes out, whenever you see the first drip, you want about 25 to 30 seconds of flow, and that's how you know you did it properly. So we're going to go ahead and take our warm cup here, and we're going to put this in the portafilter inside the group head, which is what this is called, and have it at a 6 o'clock position. And then you take your cup, and this is the time where you put your syrup in. So you pick what you want. Okay, do I want this regular syrup? Right, you take 2 teaspoons. That's what I do personally. You can take 2 pumps of one of these. You can do whatever you want. But I'm going to take my freshly made pumpkin spice latte, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons full inside of there. So just take your bigger spoon, tablespoon, whatever, and I'm just gonna scoop this out. See that? And it smells really, really nice. Put some of that in there, and you're just gonna extract your espresso right into that.
That does smell good.
Okay, so we'll put this over the side. And now the espresso, you just put this right under here, and you press the 2 button for double shot. Now, double shot espresso is more highly concentrated than regular coffee, but you're only putting 2 ounces of that in it versus a 12-ounce drip cup of coffee. Every shot of espresso has around 40 milligrams of caffeine. Your standard 12-ounce coffee has about 140, 150 milligrams. So a double shot of espresso is what we're putting into here. That's what I traditionally put in. It's going to be about half the caffeine content of your standard drip cup of coffee. So you just press this 2 button. It's going to go through the process. Completely automated. You can see it start to come out here. Sort of looks like honey flowing out of there. That's the goal, and you can see the pressure range. You want that to be at around 11, 12 o'clock. That's how you know you're getting good pressure. You can see the espresso in the cup there. Okay. That there was about 20, 25 seconds maybe. I don't even know, but it looks great. Okay, and then we have our puck after it's been extracted there. That there you just smack into the trash can. So now we're going to steam the milk, which is part of a latte recipe here. So we're going to turn this on.
Now, how much milk do you have in there?
You fill your pitcher up to right where the spout starts.
Okay, where it starts to bend a little bit.
Yep.
There. Okay.
And so now it's getting the steam pressure up, and go ahead and put it in the milk just below the surface. If it's really loud, like that, pull it out, give it a little bit of air, and then bring it back in. Now, pulling it out, giving a little bit of air, that gives you more froth. But if you just put it below the surface, it'll sort of start to create sort of a tornado effect in there, and that's what you want. Sort of evenly distribute the warm milk around.
Oh, yeah, the shaking is swirling.
And now my thermometer here, you want that to get into the green zone. Maybe see it better that way. Okay. Now you want to position the spout just below the surface of the milk, and then toward the back right edge closest to you, and that'll get you your best swirl action. So this process right here takes about a minute 20 seconds.
Now, this is not a terribly expensive machine. There are some that'll do it faster, right?
Yeah. So their top of the line machine that Breville has is $2,500. This machine here you can get just about any day of the week for about $580 to $600, and then you can get it on sale for about $480 to $500 usually.
Saves you a lot of trips to Starbucks.
Yes, a lot of people are doing that right now during the pandemic. You know, they don't want to go out and about. They want to learn how to make it at home. So we're at 120 degrees right now. Again, you want to get to about 145, 150. So right as it approaches the green zone on this thermometer. This thermometer is made for espresso and latte creation. So once we get to that, now look, take a peek down there at the espresso we just extracted. See how that's sort of golden brown? That's what you want. That on top is called crema. It is the sweet part. And it's contained within fresh beans. It's actually CO2 that's trapped within the beans during the roasting process. So I just turned it off, and you see it's coated with milk. You're going to want to wipe that off immediately and give it a little bit of a purge. And let any remaining milk inside the wands eject out because you don't want it to siphon back into the boiler. That can mess up your boiler.
So the knob on the side here is what turns that on.
Yeah, and then see our milk here that we just created? That's refilling the boiler and adding pressure again. That's what that is. This should look like wet paint. If you have any bubbles, if you have a lot of bubbles, it means that you let it bubble the surface. You need to put the wand down a little bit more. But you just give this little tap over the hand, get a little tap, and see it looks like wet paint. You can kind of swirl it around, and you take your...
So you put your hand over
to where the bubbles, to where the milk doesn't go splattering everywhere from the bubbles popping, if you have any bubbles. But you hold this at an angle, and you're going to pour right into the deepest part, kind of fast at first, and swirl around to where you can distribute your flavoring and the espresso. So pour it in fast at first, and then swirl like that. And then you can sort of, this is the part where you make latte art. I can't, so we're going to make abstract latte art. How about that? And there's your pumpkin spice latte.
Well, and I tell you, I can tell you from personal experience, these things taste very good. But hey, I guess since they have half the caffeine of a normal cup of coffee, we may have to drink 2 of these when we're doing our DX contest, guys. Chasing DX late at night. But anyway, there you go. I tell you, it looks like a lot, but man, this is a treat. These coffee drinks like this. Well, hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. A little diversion from looking at radios. I guess there is a knob on this one and a meter, but it's just not a Yaesu. How about that? All right, or an ICOM or a Kenwood. All right, 73. Thanks for watching. This is N4 HNH along with my son David. 73.